Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Rock City Central, and we got a lot of special guests, but this is a very special guest. Mrs. Sachs is now, I think, noted as New Jersey's matchmaker, real estate matchmaker, and she's been awarded many awards. People must know her all over the Jersey Shore. She is not in the Jersey Shore show, which I know.
No.
But I want to welcome the beautiful Mrs. Sachs, Kristen Sachs. Welcome to Rock City Central.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, me too. You know, I got this invitation from Mary, and everybody knows Mary. She was actually on last week's podcast, and she's running this New Jersey International Contest 2021, and you happen to be one of those people who are running in 2021.
Right.
So we talk about platforms, we talk about what you do, and she told me a lot about you, and she said, she's a dynamo. You gotta meet this girl. There's nothing that she can't do, and as soon as you do a Google search, you're literally all over there with beautiful women selling real estate with 5-star ratings, by the way.
Yes.
And you sell luxury. Right? That's the one thing that you sell. So let's talk a little bit about yourself. Rock City Central is about you and your journey to where you are. You are, from what I've read and what I've really, researched, was you're a very independent woman. And I think there's probably a lot of people that are going to look up to you in terms of advice, so things that you'd say, encouragement. You've gone through your path, your journey, which we'll talk about as well. And you have a daughter. You can speak about that. But tell us first a little bit about who named you the New Jersey matchmaker? Was it you?
It was.
Oh, okay, great.
It was. I mean, that's what real estate is. You're literally matchmaking people to a home.
Right.
And it's almost instantaneous when someone walks into a house. They know within the first 30 seconds what it feels like, and if it's something they want to continue to walk through, or if they want to turn around.
Gotcha. So their job is to say, okay, Mrs. Sachs, I want this, and then your job is to now find it. So you have to be literally the matchmaker. That's exactly
absolutely
right. But what does that mean with the luxury experience? Because the first thing I read was we offer a luxury experience, but then I said, well, what if the home's a ranch? It's only $200,000. But you really elaborated what that means. So I'd love to hear what you mean by the luxury experience.
Absolutely. For me, it is so important that everyone, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much money you would like to spend, that you receive a luxury experience.
Right.
And, you know, there are luxury markets where you can sell a property for 2.5 and you know, that happens too. But I treat my clients that are shopping at 2.5 million exactly the same as someone who wants to buy a $50,000 piece of land.
Right.
So the luxury experience is from soup to nuts. From the moment we meet, you will receive nothing but an amazing experience.
Give me an example, because I need an example of that, because I couldn't really figure out how, does that mean you pick up the phone on the first ring, or you text pictures? Because that, to me, there's so many things that offer that experience, the luxury experience.
I would actually defer back to the reviews that are online, because so many of my clients speak to that experience in the reviews. The fact that, you know, you receive constant communication, the fact that I do answer my phone any time of day, 7 days a week. You know, they run the show. This is a service that I'm providing, and at the end of the day, I have to perform a service, and their satisfaction is what keeps me going every day.
Right. And when you, what's your website? It's New Jersey Matchmakers.
NJ Real Estate Matchmaker,
Yep.
and then I have a team which is NJ Real Estate Matchmakers.
Right. So here's the question, and this might be a little bit of a biased question being a man, but I can't imagine women being okay with these beautiful women taking over the house and the response. I could imagine every man is like, sign us up. Let's sign a contract with these beautiful women to take care of the real estate. But you have a beautiful team with luxury service. Do you ever find that the women are like, let's go ask my aunt because she's doing real estate too, or can we go to somebody else, you know, less attractive? I hate to ask those questions, but really, is that helpful, or is that almost like, does it stain the brand like we're just beautiful women? Because you're a lot deeper than that. You do read those reviews. You're 5-star everywhere. So you are literally holding your own in terms of real estate. But has it been, I guess the word is do people feel like intimidated going to a company like yours?
What I would say is to myself and the team, you know, a beautiful woman is on the, you know,
surface.
On the surface, that's great, but I want people to focus on being a beautiful person.
Right.
And
that's great.
And that is the difference. You know, I had a client today reach out and just say, hey, I was just referred to you. I was working with 2 other real estate agents, and once they found out that, my budget was X, or that, it was going to be really difficult to find something with the particular loan I was using, they basically told me to kick rocks. And I literally was on the phone like, what? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that you had to experience that, because we're in the service industry.
Right.
This is about service, and it's about hard work. And, going back to your original question, I think there are so many women that reach out to us because they're so inspired by us.
That's a great way to put it.
And they want to work with us because, A, we're 150% professional. We are extremely confident, and we are going to work really hard for you.
Right.
So I wouldn't look at it as any type of intimidation. I think that our branding speaks for itself. That there is a level of confidence, and we're going to get the job done for you.
Absolutely. And there was a video that you filmed in 2020 January, and they said, what are your goals for this year? And you say, well, we'll get back to you in 2021 and we'll see if those goals were done. So just out of curiosity, because now you weren't expecting in January when that video came out that COVID was going to hit.
Right.
What was it, a better year than you expected? Or
Yes.
Let's hear what kind of year you had.
It's so funny because I'm not the type of person, if an obstacle gets in my way, there is no way I'm turning around or rolling over. It doesn't happen. It actually makes me work harder.
I'm the same way.
And there was a moment where all of real estate went to a halt, right, when COVID hit. And I want to say we were probably home for about 4 weeks until they said we were essential workforce, and we had to overcome some different challenges of getting into houses and being safe. But yes, it was a record-breaking year for real estate, and I think any realtor will tell you that. So I had a goal for myself, and I exceeded that goal.
Got it. And your whole team, I suspect, is part of that goal.
Well, they came in later in the year.
Got it.
But yeah, I was able to form that team during COVID.
Wow.
I worked on 2 different business ventures during COVID. I could not sit around and just watch the news every day. I said, let's get something going here. And so I did.
You got it. So now how does this whole thing tie into Miss New Jersey 2021 and International with Mary? Because I think Mary said somebody recommended you, and then it all kind of... So how did that all come to play?
Charity work, it has always been something that's very important to me. And I have worked with the Providence House of Catholic Charities for 14 years. And New Jersey pageants reached out, and obviously I was appointed Miss Jersey Shore. And so now I'm competing for the title of Miss New Jersey.
So connect that. Who called you and who intertwined you with Mary? Was there somebody that said you got to meet this?
Yes, a friend, a colleague, and she actually held the title of Mrs. Woman New Jersey. And she just said, I love what you're doing. I think you would be such a great part of our sisterhood. And she was right.
Terrific. So now, that's interesting you mentioned 14 years with this charity. So the first thing I do every time someone introduces me to somebody that I'm going to interview on these podcasts is I really research the heck out of them, because like somebody writes a book, I'll read the book and all that other good stuff. So I didn't know anything about that 14 years of charity. It seems almost like anonymous. I didn't see anything tied to that charity, and when I looked at that charity, it spoke about domestic violence, and I didn't see any affiliation or association with the real estate with that charity. Why is that such an important part of the platform? Because you're going to have a pretty big podium to speak about this and support your platform. So what's about that charity that's so special?
So I'm actually a domestic violence survivor.
Really?
Yes.
Because I didn't see that anywhere.
It's not something that you promote.
Right.
Typically when you are in these situations, you have someone trying to locate you all the time. So there's a level of anonymity that you need. And so I just put my head down and was moving forward. And when I became a realtor, obviously all of my information became public.
Right. So just I'm trying to understand. Somebody was following you, or is it?
So, when I'll give you my story.
I'd love to hear your journey. Absolutely.
Okay. So I was with an abuser, and it's so hard to explain to someone that may not have the experience with it, but most people would say, well, you're with someone who's hurting you, why wouldn't you just leave?
Right.
And it's so much deeper than that. So an abuser actually gets progressively worse. There are some levels that you may not even notice out of the gate. So when you meet someone and it's exciting and you're lusting, and in our case, we got engaged after 8 months. And it starts very small, where it's all about power and control.
Of course, right.
So it starts small, where, oh, well, I don't want you to wear something like that, or I don't want you to go to work anymore, or I don't want you to hang out with that person. And what they do is they start to isolate you,
right,
until you have nothing. But it doesn't happen overnight. It happens.
It's like a conditioning type of thing?
Yes, very slowly. So, you get into an argument, and things are said, then things are thrown, then somebody's physically hurt.
Really?
And things become progressively worse. And so I didn't, I'm in love. I love this person, and I'm with them. And we chose to begin a family together. And I was 6 months pregnant, finding myself with an abuser that has become even worse.
So did your family or friends notice this, or you kept it a secret?
I was on the opposite side of the country by myself.
San Diego.
Yes. Yeah. So nobody could have seen it. And remember, you're isolated. So nobody ever knows what happens behind closed doors.
So there were no black and blues and...
There were, but they're hidden.
Yeah.
Right? They're hidden. So, again, it starts small. In my case, a glass frame shatters on the wall, and glass is stuck all on your body, and the next day you're getting this huge apology. I shouldn't have drank that much, or the excuses, whatever.
Yeah.
And then as it gets worse, as the months go by, then it's windows breaking, and then it's physical altercations.
Was this around your child, or was this while you were pregnant?
I was both prior to pregnancy and then during pregnancy.
Wow, and you still were abused during pregnancy.
So I ended up leaving 6 months pregnant.
Wow.
Yes.
That takes courage.
Yes, a lot.
Holy crap.
A lot of courage. And I ended up getting on a plane with a bag and coming back to New Jersey.
Wow.
And it's been so long, but it's still, like, to bring it all up, it's so crazy to even think about. But I got off the plane, and my family said, you need support.
Yeah.
And so they said, we know of this place. It's called the Providence House of Catholic Charities, and you should go talk to somebody. So I did.
Wow, and that was 14 years ago.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never said this to anybody. My wife's sister is abused and still continues to be in an abused relationship. Married, and we've offered her our home. She's living in North Carolina, and we said, you don't have to worry about paying rent, food. She doesn't eat. She doesn't get fed. She gets beat up. She got her arm broken. It's been really bad. We are afraid that one day that we're not going to be able to hear from her again, and there's no family where she is, and never hear from her again.
Yeah, I mean, that's a valid concern.
What made you pick up and go? Because at this point, I'm
the story's
thinking,
not over yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Because
Yeah.
I'm talking about the courage to get up at 6 months pregnant and leave.
Well, listen, I think there's a level of which we care for ourselves, and then there's a level of this is another human being. And
Wait, the abuser?
No, of a child.
Okay,
a
that's
child.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think the courage comes from that.
I understand.
And so when I came home, I started going to the Providence House, and they offered individual counseling, they offer group counseling, they offer a store for you to get things that you need to survive. They have a safe house where you can actually, for local people that need to leave their abuser, they can take their children to this safe house, and it's completely anonymous. Nobody knows where you are.
I can't believe things like this happen. I can't believe the abuse happens, or the fact that these places exist. Because
it's actually 1 in 3 women
are you serious?
Have experienced abuse within their domestic intimate partnership.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's why I'm saying you never know what's happening behind closed doors. And it's not always physical abuse. I mean, we're talking about mental abuse.
Yeah.
We're talking about someone just degrading you and in front of your children. I've met so many women during my time with Providence House where their children have found them unconscious on the floor.
Oh my God.
Because they've been beaten so badly. And so, I mean, think about the children that experience that, and their own parent is responsible for that. So there's so much that goes into the healing process.
Yeah.
And that's what's so amazing about this organization, is that they are not only giving you a safe place to go when you need it the most, food to eat, I mean, a roof over your head to keep you and your child safe, they're also healing you and providing these services for you and your kids.
I can't believe that I'm hearing this story, because to hit a woman, to hit anybody, I'm not, listen, the lover and a fighter,
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm neither. I'm just a musician, but I just can't put myself in that position. But you get on a plane, you leave, but aren't you afraid this guy's going to come after you?
Well, he did.
Oh my God. So I didn't know.
It's not funny. It's not funny. I'm
No,
not laughing.
I know, but
it's just,
he comes across the country.
yeah.
Because
yeah.
now it's not only were you married or were you just engaged?
Engaged, yeah.
So now his fiance and his potential daughter, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Is now leaving. And now he
Yeah.
realizes after whatever he did, I really screwed up. He comes back for you?
Yeah, and the reality is, if you read the statistics, it takes 8 to 9 times for a woman to leave before she actually leaves.
Why
for
do
the
you
last
think
time.
so? What's that number?
It is such a deep level of manipulation in the relationship that you feel that, I mean, first of all, during the process, you lose all self-esteem. You lose any sense of self-worth, because you have had someone who loves you, who you love, who is feeding you this information every single day. And you start to believe it.
Yeah.
And you're so isolated. So it takes so much for a woman to leave because of that form of manipulation, that it takes that many times to leave. So yeah, I ended up going to counseling, and ended up giving birth, and he showed up when I was giving birth. And,
oh my gosh. How did you find out where you were? I thought the safe house, don't they protect you?
I wasn't at the safe house. No, okay. I was with my family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
But so, of course, very vulnerable in my situation, just having a baby. And I hear, I've gone through anger management. I've done substance abuse therapy. I've done all of these things. We're going to be a family. I love you guys so much. And, when you plan a family, it's to be a family.
Yeah.
It's not to be a single mother, right? And I felt in the moment, who would I be if I didn't try to work this out?
For your daughter?
For my daughter.
Right.
For her, when she grows up and I say, oh, well, I didn't give him a chance. I said, I'll try and work this out. And so I take my 4-week-old baby to California, and we start, living our life again. And
if I could just ask, what did your parents say at that point?
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. They, could not believe what was going on.
Plus,
and
their
they
granddaughter
were
now is
heartbroken.
going
Oh, they were
cross-country,
heartbroken. Yeah, it was so tough. It was so hard. and rightfully so. And as a parent, now 14 years later, with a 14-year-old and looking at the situation, it's so crazy. I mean, I know how I would feel. And so without giving you all of the gory details, what ended up happening was...
So you go back to California,
yes,
you think it's okay.
Living life. And I start feeling that control start building up, right? Because there's a honeymoon phase.
That's right.
There's a cycle of violence that happens, and they teach you about this at the Providence House. Huh. They teach you about the cycle of violence and the honeymoon phase, and that's where we were. And so I start feeling the control and the power shift again.
But now your daughter, who's a baby, is
starting to... But now she's an infant.
Yeah.
She's an infant. And so I stood up for myself. And I said, no way, I'm not going to be under your thumb or control or whatever it was. And he attacked me. And so at that moment... Did
your daughter see any of that?
She's an infant.
Right, but was she in the room? Because usually
she's in another room. And I said, that's it. When that happened, that's it. I'm out of here.
Wow.
But I would have never had the courage to do it if I did not learn what I learned at the Providence House.
That's amazing.
So, it gets, for any woman to do this, it gets really, really messy before it gets better.
Right.
And so...
Could you explain what that messy means?
I absolutely can. So in order for me to protect my child, I had to get the police involved, right? Because I need her protected.
Yeah.
But it's a domestic dispute. So police do not handle the children, right?
Right.
So then I have to call Child Protective Services to protect her.
Oh my gosh.
So everyone's involved. And so there's restraining orders, and there's so many things there's so many different steps that you have to take to get to safety. But let me tell you something. As soon as I scooped her up and, grabbed a bag, my parents had me on the first flight back.
That was the only one.
That was the
one
last
time.
time.
That was first and last.
That was the last time.
Wow. So how long was that honeymoon phase? Because I'm sure people watching this might say something like, that could be 2 weeks or 2 months.
8 weeks.
8 weeks. That's all it was.
8 weeks.
Oh my gosh. So the problem, he had a problem, whether it was alcohol or drugs. What was his problem? Just anger? Was it because you were successful?
All of the above.
Really? So were you working before you did this and you were successful? Maybe he wasn't making us enough money. What were you doing in San Diego?
I had a really great job in fashion.
You also worked in Pandora? Not Pandora.
That was here.
Oh, that was here.
Yeah, that was here. I was just out of college. I was young. I was 24 years old, and starting my career. And it was, I was successful.
And it was probably more of an intimidation with this guy.
But a lot of people are attracted to that independence. But then once you're under their thumb, they don't want you to have it anymore.
So this is a great question that I could ask you, and maybe you can speak to the camera, because this is what my wife's sister's going through. She doesn't have a job and no confidence. Is she hopeless? Is it a hopeless point at that point? What can you tell somebody who's watching this right now, and she's probably going to watch this, who doesn't feel like they have anything? They don't have a job, they don't have any money. That's why we're offering her our home. We buy her food, clothes, we send it there. But what can you tell somebody that's going through this that doesn't have that opportunity to leave? They think that they're stuck. Do they just run away and hope that they find a house like this? Or do they call family? Do they get a job and hide money on the side, create separate bank accounts? I mean, you have anything that you can give somebody who was in your position?
I would absolutely call the Providence House. I mean, that's what I would advise, and that's your first step.
Yeah.
And these steps don't have to be huge in the beginning, until you build your confidence up, but you need your independence. And so, calling them, and even just being able to talk to one of their counselors, who deal with this every single day, is going to be able to help you. And are you going to be cured the first or second time? No. I mean, I went for so many months, again, I think it's all dependent on your situation, but I would definitely have her call and make an appointment just to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And they have a hotline.
He owns the phone. That's the problem. That's how much control.
Well, there's a hotline. There's a 1-800 number, and what I'll do is I'll provide the link.
Great. That would be great. I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, I have a one-pager from them, and there's a 1-800 number that you can call from a payphone from somewhere. And sometimes, depending on what the donations are like, maybe they have like a payphone,
right?
A
card, right? Prepaid card, yep.
or an actual cell phone, like a prepaid cell phone.
Right. That's great. So, and and I want to honor you for this because I have never heard of this particular place before. I didn't know what it was. A search kind of told me what it was, but more people need to know about this kind of place. I had no idea it even existed.
Well, and right now, so imagine the story you just heard.
Yeah.
That I went through personally. 98 women went through this past year with over 250 children.
Oh my goodness.
So I know right now there's 56 clients and their children that are spread between the safe house and hotel rooms right now because of COVID. So they actually ran out of space at the safe house because what ended up happening was during COVID, women are trapped with their quarantined with their abuser. And so they can't get away.
Oh my God.
So when they finally got away, the shelter became overcrowded and they had to get hotel rooms. And so right now, I actually have a GoFundMe page that we're able to take donations. I'm also taking physical donations for the safe house, as well as, these kids and women are living in a hotel room, so they need to eat out of a microwave. So they need quick meals that you can heat up. They need, twin bed sheets, bath towels. They need certain things. So I've been donating there for 14 years. They're actually in my will.
My God.
They mean so much to me.
Can I stop for 1 second? You are a flippin' amazing person.
Oh my God.
No, and I'm not just stroking you here.
Thank
You're
you.
an amazing person.
Thank you.
But you have a voice that could probably go nations, really. People, they look at you and they're like, wow, she's got something to say, and they listen. You can tell based on all of your Google reviews,
Thank
right?
you.
Is there a reason why I had a struggle to find out why you're supporting such an amazing cause? Because I feel if you were maybe more vocal about it, you can be the face of that, because God, I feel like you've saved so many people and nobody even knows about it. The good that you're doing.
Well, honestly, this was the platform that I was going to share it on.
Holy mackerel. Because I want to, before you leave, we'll figure out how I can donate. I want to contribute to this as well. If there's anything I could do, because there's probably a lot of guitar players in those hotel rooms that we can help, and we can give some guitars to and teach some lessons for, especially to get their minds off of things, because you don't want to focus on this, That's the last thing you want. But you've chosen a platform that I knew nothing about, that I feel like I'm so close to, because my heart goes out to these folks who nobody deserves to be beaten, and then you bring children into it. But that goes to my next question. Your daughter, now that your daughter's 14, she probably knows, of course.
She knows.
I guess, how did she handle it? Does she ask about her dad? Does she speak to her dad?
No, we don't have any contact. She knows the story. I've been extremely transparent with her, because raising her, my main priority is for her to be an independent woman, and that's what drives me to show her as a physical role model what it looks like to stand up for yourself, to have your own voice, to just be a good human being.
Yeah.
And she's gone with me to donate to the Providence House. We take carloads of things that they need down there. We just donated 2 mountain bikes.
Where is this? Is it Long Island?
Whiting, New Jersey.
Whiting, New Jersey. Because I thought it was in Long Island, but I need to learn a little bit, actually a lot more about this, because we do lots of donations and charitable events too, and I've never even heard of this place. The majority of the people that donate, are they women who went through this, or is it? No,
there's so many. Actually, I had neighbors that participate with them that don't know me, don't know my story or anything.
Oh, wow.
But no, so many people know of it, and I think it hits home for a lot of people, depending upon if they've been in a relationship where it's been just mental abuse, or it's been any type of, remember, there's other, there's sexual abuse too. There's a lot of things that happen. So I feel grateful to be able to share my story, because if it helps just one person, I feel like I've done something to change, something that could potentially happen that we don't want to happen.
But and just to go back to your daughter, does your daughter have any reason to want to speak to her dad, or is it she cut him off?
Yeah, there's no reason. He's not part of our life, and I've been a single mom for 14 years, so she doesn't know any other way than us two.
Right. I was looking at your LinkedIn profile, and we share one similarity. Actually, we share two similarities. Which the first one I'll bring up, which is more relevant, is Tony Robbins. You follow Tony Robbins?
I do.
Are you ever been to Unleash the Power Within?
No.
You gotta go. If you ever want to go, you gotta go when they come back again. But you follow Tony Robbins. Mm-hmm. So if you follow Tony Robbins, he would say something like, life happens for you and not to you. So what's the good that you can walk away with this situation that's brought you here on this podcast representing Miss 2021 and this amazing platform? So I could tell you a zillion things where you've actually taken this and made it something that worked for you. So what's the good in it? If you can find any, did you find any good in this?
Everything that happened has made me who I am today. Mm-hmm. And if I didn't hit rock bottom the way that I did, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I think that we have to take every experience that we go through and just take it for what it is, mm-hmm. and try and do some positive with it.
Right.
And again, I've literally, when everything happened and I got off that plane with my 12-week-old baby, I had one day in between and I had a job already.
Wow.
It was one day. I got off the plane, got myself settled, and the next day I was out and I got a job.
Where did you get that confidence from?
I want to say it was from her. I mean, it was from her. It wasn't just me anymore. I was a mom.
Wow. So my dad attributes all the success to Italian folks. That's my father's always been Sicilians. It's great. Is your real last name Sachs or is it Italian?
I am Italian, but I'm also Portuguese.
Gotcha.
We're all Northern European.
Gotcha.
But we did go to Sicily. We went backpacking in Sicily.
Oh, well, that's cool.
2 years ago, and it was the most amazing place.
Yeah. Do you know why they call it malaria? Because the houses are all on the hills there, and it's because of the malaria, bad air. That's why malaria was very popular back then. So they built all those houses on those hills. That's where the term malaria comes from. My parents from Sicily as well, but yeah. So my grandparents actually. So looking into your last name, I thought it was changed at one point. But Sachs is your name that you use for real estate, or that's the name you changed it to, or is it
my maiden name? It's always been my name.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. So because I knew that you looked like a little bit of Italian, so that's why I brought that up. My dad's always so those Sicilians will always make us proud. That's what my dad said. So getting back to the other thing, so I did find out, I was looking at some of your profile pages, and you have a tattoo, and I'm like, now she's one of us. She's rock and roll, and this is what we're all about. So one tattoo, is that it? Is all you have is one tattoo?
I actually have a lot of tattoos.
Do you really?
I do, and that was
you are one of us.
It was one of my first questions when they asked me, to be in the pageant. I said, "Oh my gosh, what does everybody think about tattoos?" And she's like, "Well, we can figure it out, but no, I have my entire back done."
Oh my God, that's amazing!
I do.
You probably sell more real estate that way because there's a lot of rock and roll.
You never see it. It's my back, so you don't really ever see it unless.
That's fantastic. So I guess the object here is, and I think it's in April, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to do the contest. It's the big pageant, right? Mm-hmm. So how does that pageant work? Do they ask you to tell you about your story, of course? They'll interview you, I suspect.
Yeah, I think it's 50% interview, 25% evening gown, and 25% athletic.
Like play soccer or?
No, like athletic gear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Is anybody else using or going up with your particular platform? Because I've heard of a lot of platforms,
I don't
but not
believe
this
so.
one. Yeah.
I don't believe so. And you know what? It's not one that I believe women typically share, you know, because I think there's always been a sense of maybe feeling ashamed or, you know, different feelings.
Yeah.
Again, it's the same thing with, you know, there's different diseases, right? And people can't just stop. It's something that
Right.
you know, you have to change. And I do follow so many people, you know, you said Tony Robbins, but
Yeah.
I follow so many others, and you know, mindset and attitude
Absolutely.
is the name of the game every day for me.
Yep.
And you know, I'm always centering myself. You know, I have a sauna, I meditate. You know, it's
every day. Meditate.
it's so important. As an entrepreneur, I'm moving a mile a minute.
Yeah.
And I have to have 20 minutes of just centering myself.
Yep.
And getting my head ready for the day, and that's how I do it.
Yeah. I can't help but think there's going to be people that you know that are going to watch this and go, "Oh my God, this was my life 10 years ago, and I would have never shared it."
You would never. I met women in a group counseling.
Yeah.
Back then, and you would never know. You would never know if you had a group of women sitting around. You could never just identify one, because it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter your race. There's no it happens to everybody.
So then I guess that begs that question. So if somebody shows that kind of sense where they might be, you know, very violent, or they might be an abuser, is it something that you catch on immediately, just run, or it could be just a phase? It could be because they lost their job. When do you distinguish that it's something is gonna really snowball, or it could be because he just lost his job, he's a little upset and he's taking it out on me? Is there a difference, or is that something like the beginning that's gonna get worse?
That I don't know if you can really compare that. That's this is consistent, ongoing behavior.
No, I'm talking about when it starts. I mean, because you said there's a honeymoon phase, right?
There are definitely red flags. I mean, when you think about power and control.
And that's what I mean. What are some of the red flags?
Yeah, power and control. You know,
like don't go out with your friends.
Deciding what you're going to wear.
Yeah.
You know, that you can't hang out with those friends because they don't like them,
right.
Or you can't work that job anymore because you have to be on a plane and you're flying somewhere I can't find you or see you or whatever it is. Or there's so many different things that is not a healthy relationship.
Right. Wow, that's an amazing story.
But it happens to men also. So you can't single that out. It's 1 in 4 men.
Really?
That have been in a physical, in a domestic. I have all of these different statistics from
what I'm learning from you is amazing, and I'm glad a platform like this exists, and you're a speaker of that, because I never heard of stuff like this. I mean, not to this level. I didn't know 1 in 3 women. I would have never known that, and I didn't even know about this house, which is great. So again, before you leave, I want to find out how I can contribute. We can even do donations, raise, because I know Thanksgiving comes around. We like feeding folks, and maybe if there's a place that we can do it, that would be great. I'd be happy to.
Yeah, they take all types of donations, and it'll change by the season. They actually have a store within the shelter where women can go and get things that they need. My first Christmas as a mom, they actually filled the bottom of my tree.
Oh my goodness.
With gifts for my daughter, with gas cards for myself, whatever I needed, they were
That's
there.
amazing.
It's the most amazing organization. They have the most amazing people there. They do all types of different events. Obviously, prior to COVID, I went to a wine tasting event that they held where you can go and donate. It was so nice. And they do different fundraisers where they have silent auctions. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so you'll probably start to see it now. It's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but domestic violence is purple.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, we do things like that all the time. If there's anything that we can do to contribute, we can talk about that too. We do lots of stuff here. And if they want to come here, we can give their kids lessons. We can make a music day for them. It'd be great just to get their minds off of that. That would be fantastic.
Awesome.
I'd really love that. But so we usually end the podcast with a question. I don't know if you've seen any of the other questions or any of the other podcasts, but it all starts out with, I'm an old Mustang guy. I have a 66 Mustang, and I just got it restored, and I'm closing the garage door. My dad's there, and I said, Dad, I love this car. It was beautiful. And he said, Michael, one day, everything that you own was going to be one day owned by somebody else. The house, the car, your jewelry, your watch, everything that's yours is going to be gone, and somebody else is going to wear it or drive it. He said, what are you here for? What's your mark? What do you want to leave? And it didn't really strike me until I started to think about these podcasts when I interview people, especially entrepreneurs, right? Because we always feel like we want to prove something to somebody else. What is your mark that you want to leave the world?
Wow, I mean, there's so much. There's so much I would want to leave, but I think being authentically you and being confident with who you are is the most important thing for me to live authentically in myself with all of my beautiful flaws of my experiences and just life. That's all I can give is that full transparency and authenticity. So
can I add role model? Because people are going to remember you as the person that, didn't take shit from anybody. You just did it, and it takes a lot of strength to be sitting in that seat right now and saying this. I got to honor you for that.
Thank
because
you.
A lot of people would never have done something like this, and I
Thank
think
you.
it's beautiful. And I really want to honor you for taking the time and
Thank
spending
you.
it with us. How do we reach you? Not so much with the Jersey real estate, because we all know it's New Jersey matchmaker. But how do we reach you in terms of donating to the charity, contributing?
There's actually a GoFundMe page, which I can give you the link to.
Yes, that would be
great. And you can attach it to the video.
You want to add it to here, the GoFundMe? Is there a title to that they can just search on GoFundMe?
Yeah, I believe it's domestic violence support at the Jersey Shore.
Okay. We can add that, and we can put that on the tag, so when people select that would be great.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Domestic violence support for Jersey Shore victims.
Terrific. And you're part of that. So we're going to we'll donate to that as well. That's great. And I'm serious about it. Anything that comes up for the women, we do this rock and Merlot thing where we get 10 people in and they actually learn the ukulele while they drink Merlot. We supply it, we feed everybody. It's 90 minutes. They end up learning a song on how to play a ukulele. It's
Awesome.
A lot of fun. So we'd be happy to offer any of that stuff and donate any much of a time that we can offer, whether it's music lessons or recording studio time, anything that we can do,
Awesome.
especially for the children.
Awesome. They would love
But
that.
thank you. I want to honor you again one more time.
Thank you.
The beautiful Miss Kristen Sachs, please. Everybody, thank you very much.